What's good? It's your boy Godsfull. We're back again with another video, and today we are reviewing It Chapter 2. I'm recording this on the day Episode 4 of Welcome to Derry comes out. I'll definitely be watching it. Um, I've never reviewed like a TV show before on my channel. I mostly just did movies and video games, but maybe I can make an exception for it. But today is not a this review is not about Welcome to Derry. It's about It Chapter 2. 2 years after the insane It Chapter 1, because when I say insane, I don't mean like it was like the greatest thing in existence ever. I mean, it was really, really good. But the box office numbers and overall positive reviews, people were saying it's a really good horror movie. Um, but can we say the same thing about It Chapter 2? To be quite frank, no, not really. There's a lot of issues with It Chapter 2. There were issues in It Chapter 1, but you can kind of get past them in a way. But with this movie, there's one glaring issue. The movie is way too long. 3 hours. 3 hours. On one hand, you can kind of see why it would need to be 3 hours, because you got to intertwine the flashbacks and all that, and you can't like rush the scenes. Particularly, you can't really rush them. You gotta have them flow well with the movie. um it The one thing I will say about the flashbacks, most of them, there's obviously a few we've seen from It Chapter 1. I will say this: most of the flashbacks to when we flash back to when we were kids are like pretty much not seen footage of the first movie. Well, it's not. It's for It Chapter 2. It's just new shots with the kids, new scenes with the kids, which I can respect, because at least we're not just replaying scenes in the first movie the whole time for the flashbacks. That's something I can give them. I mean, it's like we got to do flashbacks. We might as well just do new footage that we haven't seen. I respect that. Bill Skarsgård returns as his role as Pennywise, and Bill Skarsgård, I never had an issue with him in these movies. If there is like something I will just give a 10 out of 10 instantly, it is Bill Skarsgård. He is phenomenal. We'll just have to see how he is in Welcome to Derry. We haven't seen him yet, but when we do, I can gauge more. But from these first two movies, we've got two movies to work with him as Pennywise, and each time he smashes it out of the park. I would argue he's even better in this movie than he was in the first movie. Let me give you an example. Spoilers. There's this section where he's gonna eat this little girl. Where Pennywise is gonna eat the little girl. She gets lured into like the bottom of bleachers at a baseball game, and by like some firefly, it leads her down. Pennywise grabs it, has the firefly illuminate his face. It's a good shot. You should like, yeah. And the girl immediately sees, oh no, he's scary. I gotta go away. But you know what Pennywise does? He cries. He manipulates. He gaslights. He makes it seem like he is a victim. He gets picked on. He gets bullied. He relates to her. And that's what draws her in. I mean, she's probably still kind of scared. But that relatability that he showed, or like what she thinks is relatability, because obviously he's lying, it draws her in, and that's when Pennywise is able to pounce. This is obviously, I'm pretty, it's the Georgie of It Chapter 2. Obviously, It Chapter 1, that Georgie scene where Georgie dies will always be iconic. Seeing him bite his arm off and then drag him into the sewer, it will forever be great. It will be a great scene. It's just, you got, he, it's not Bill Skarsgård's fault. I mean, it's a little bit of the direction's fault, but it's an improved upon in this movie. He's able to lure the girl in by seeming like, oh, I get bullied, I get made fun of, I get all of this. That's great stuff. Now, let's get into the characters other than Pennywise. You got the adult versions of Bill, Ben, Mike, Bev, and Richie. And Stanley. For casting, I think they did a terrific job. They did a terrific job. I love the 1990 miniseries movie, but the casting was just kind of, it was all over the place. Some of them were like, okay, I can see it, but then others are like, what in the world? Where here, it's like, okay, I can see that. I can see that. Especially the guy who played Eddie. That guy literally, he's literally, the guy even who was related to the actor that plays adult Eddie said, "Wow, that the kid actor looks like the guy." It was perfect. And there's actually like a scene where he's like in the fucking pharmacy place, and he's like walking up to the cashier, and it's like you see both the adult version and the kid version, and it's like, wow, it drives the point home. It was the casting, perfection, perfection. Oh, yes. Uh, the guy who played Richie, Bill Hader, he did an amazing job. He was obviously hilarious. I mean, it's Bill Hader. He's always gonna be hilarious. Um, I mean, like the it just like this suffers from what kind of the original 1990 miniseries movie suffered from. It just the kid version, the kid sections of the movies are always the best. The dynamic between the kids, and I'm not gonna fault the movie because the movie does a decent job at rekindling the dynamic between them as adults. It does a really decent to good job, 100%. It's just, I don't know, it's just better when Pennywise is just hunting a bunch of kids. I don't know how to explain it any more than that. Because it's like Pennywise is not trying to kill these people. Multiple times he has these people trapped and can literally eat them or kill them or whatever it is. But he not doesn't. You wanna know why? He's doing what he did in the original miniseries. He's trying to scare them out of Derry again. He's just trying to scare them. And you wanna know why? Because of the Shiners. But that 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 doesn't matter though. It's the simple fact that as a 30 mid 30s in your 40s, you're not going to be scared of this shit. You're not. You're just not. You're not going to be scared of the clown. You're not going to be scared of, maybe if he's like big monster, I guess. I mean, Because it's like when you're adults, you're not really necessarily scared of things other than maybe spiders. Spiders are pretty scary. Um, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Don't worry. Um, but there's nothing when you're an adult. There's nothing Pennywise or it can take the physical form of to truly like scare us, frighten us, give him the sweeteners that he needs. The only and that's why he mostly goes after kids because they're easy to frighten, they're easy to scare, they're developing and they don't know any better and they think shit is scary. It's as simple as that. So, what is a big thing that they do in this movie that they don't do in the miniseries? Well, they actually incorporate the ritual of Chud or Chud. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's ritual. It's where they pretty much it weakens Pennywise to where you can bully it to death. And they had a little over, I would say a third of the movie is all six of them because obviously Stanley kills himself. Yeah, six of them. They have to find tokens of their past. They have to find tokens of their past. So it's like they have to go to old locations from their past as kids. Bill has to go to that sewer drain that Georgie was eaten in by Pennywise. Bev has to go to her father's house, which is now, well, it's like abandoned, but Pennywise creates the illusion that it's still around and there's actually someone living there. So, what did Ben do again? Oh, wait, he just kept the poem. Yeah, the poem, I think. No, but okay, no, I'm forgetting. It's a long fucking movie. Bev gets the I'm pretty sure Bev gets the poem. Ben has the yearbook thing that Bev signed, right? Bill gets the paper boat that he made for Georgie back in it chapter 1. Eddie pretty much what did he get? I guess the inhaler. So yeah. Um so they need those tokens as Mike calls them and yeah, that's how they do the ritual Chud. But the issue is they aren't really getting over their past trauma when they do this. So when they halfway there does the ritual Chud, Pennywise was just fucking with them the whole time, acting like he was gonna get trapped. But then his signature red balloon and it pops obviously. Oh wait, I'm forgetting about Henry. Oh yeah, Henry. So yeah, he survived falling down that well in it chapter 1, which is like if you know the source material, you pretty much knew he was probably going to be in it chapter 2. It would be a really drastic change to the source material for him not to be there. So obviously he survives, but he's immediately arrested in the flashback because he killed his father. Obviously, he's gonna get arrested. And for the last 27 years after, he's been spent in a mental asylum, mental hospital. And Pennywise or it comes back to Henry 27 years later in the form of the balloon and in the form of his dead friend Patrick Hockstetter. Can I just say the guy who played Henry, he nailed he nailed it. He nailed it. He nailed the guy from the first movie's movements perfectly. It all these actors, the, the actors put their heart and soul into it, and if there's a bright spot to the film, it's all the actors, 100%. In this one, he doesn't really do much other than he stabs Eddie in the face, in the cheek. That doesn't really harm him to be in the hospital, and he doesn't harm Mike at all. Unlike the miniseries, Mike actually is a tough guy in this version, as established in It Chapter 1. So this man picks him up and slams him into a table WWE style. So it was pretty badass. And he eventually just dies because Richie came back to his senses and killed him. So now we go back to the ending. Pennywise puts them all in a personal hell, except for Mike, Eddie, and Richie. Well, Eddie and Richie, they just do the whole not scary, scary, very scary door thing that they did in the first one. They redo that. But Bill goes through something to where he kills his guilt. He kills that part of himself that was guilty and thought it was his fault that Georgie died. Ben and Bev, Ben stops being quiet and just tells Bev the truth that it was him that wrote the poem. Oh yeah, Bev kind of just forgot. Because the whole thing about you forget everything that happens in Derry when you leave it. But Ben didn't forget about Bev. So they figure it out. Bev figures out it was Ben, and they're pretty much a thing now. So yeah. After that, they had to make Pennywise feel small. That's the good old short of it. Nothing else to really say is that they made him feel small. And that weakened him to the point where they could grab his heart and destroy it, killing it. And yeah, that is It Chapter 2. Is this a bad movie per se? No. I'm not gonna say it's a horrible movie. But is it a great movie? No. Maybe they could have condensed it to 2.5 hours. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if the long runtime was that necessary. Because, I recently watched it with a friend. Well, kind of watched it. He couldn't sit there and watch the 3 hours. He said it was taking too long. And I can see that. I was able to watch through the whole movie. I was actually into the story. But it's like I can see where, my friend's coming from. So it's the simple thing that it also suffers from the adult part of the It book and movie are probably the weakest versions of the stories in all three versions. And it's unfortunate because it's like the final act of the story. It's unfortunate. And it's not due to a lack of effort or fortitude. The actors And the directors, the writers, and they showed that in spades. And there's no doubt about that. It's just with what they had, they couldn't create a perfect conclusion. Was it a good to decent conclusion? Sure, yeah. But yeah. But what would I rate it chapter 2? Cuz I've watched it twice now. I might watch it a third time after Welcome to Derry is over. I don't know, but that's that that's coming. Maybe. I don't know. But what I would rate it chapter 2, I gave it chapter 1 an 8 out of 10. So it's obviously not going to be above an 8 out of 10. I'm going to give it chapter 2 a 6.5 to a 7 out of 10. A very flawed movie, but not a horrible watch. The story kept me engaged. The adult actors are so good, it keeps me into it. Bill Skarsgård is always great as Pennywise, and I'm almost positive he's gonna nail it out of the park for a third time in the fucking Welcome to Derry series. But it just suffers from being the worst part of the It catalog. It just suffers from being the worst part of it in all versions. Is this better than the miniseries section of the adult section? For sure. It's a better done version, 100%. But yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, peace.